Hello, everyone. Hello and happy Friday. It is Miss Tracy here of Miss Tracy Creates and doing something a little special today. Instead of my normal craft and chat that is every Friday at 11 Central, today I'm going to be sharing a free workshop with you. This is a free workshop featuring the Easter Blessings napkin bundle, which is a faith-based bundle. It's a faith-based specialty napkin bundle that we have available right now. And I've been thinking about this. I've been planning. I actually designed the majority of the napkins in this bundle. Good morning. Hi, Kelly. Good morning. So I have a special workshop today, and this one, you guys, I'm starting you off kind of easy, even though it's going to be amazing. The process I'm going to show you today is really something that anyone could do. This is something that anyone, whether you have very little crafting experience or you've been crafting your whole life, like this, what I'm going to show you today is going to be I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's one of my favorite techniques to do with napkins. And then I'm going to show you how I'm going to kind of put this all together. So today I'm actually making a framed decor piece. Okay, a framed decor piece. And I'm really, really excited about it. Looking forward to it. Good morning, everybody. I am streaming right now on my Facebook page at Miss Tracy Creates. I would love for you to follow me there if you're not already. And then I'm also sharing this over on my YouTube channel, which is growing. So thank you guys out there for watching my YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. And if you are over there on YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. So, we're going to have some fun this morning. I'm so excited. I love being able to create some things that celebrate my faith, right? I wore my Faith Journaling Experience t-shirt today, all for his glory. I am very passionate about Bible journaling. I am a Bible believer. And I do this twice a year generally. We will come out with two kind of faith-based napkin bundles. We came out with one before Christmas called The Christmas Story. And then this one is called Easter Blessings. So it does have some Easter type images, also some Easter spring type images. And today I'm going to be working with a very, very special napkin in this bundle. Let me show you what the bundle looks like. This is what the bundle looks like. It says Easter Blessings. There are, I think, 9 napkins in this bundle, but multiple designs. Because I was able to design this myself, I could decide what I wanted to have on each quadrant of the napkin. So you're going to have quite a few designs, and some of them are they're just really, really beautiful. A lot of them have scripture on them. There's some beautiful crosses. There's several different things. I did put the link to this napkin bundle up in the description on this post. And also I want to introduce Susan Lyles. Susan, go ahead and say hello. Susan Lyles is with me in the chat today. So she'll be sharing links and things to some of the items that I'll be using. So I pulled out the napkin I plan to use today. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. When you go to the shopping link, it will show you a few of the images, but again, not all of them because there are several on different. Well, actually, maybe she did. I'm trying to remember. Maybe she did open the napkins and post the pictures over there. I can't quite remember, but you can go over there and you can see more of the images. Okay. So this is the napkin I pulled out. This is the one. This was the when I did the live reveal for these napkins, this is the one that I told everybody it was kind of the hardest for me to design. Easter, as beautiful as Easter is, there are parts of Easter for us as believers in Jesus and the cross and the crucifixion and the tomb and rising again and all of those things. It was heavy. It was kind of heavy, and it was like, okay, I need to kind of find a way to depict these images. And so this is what I came up with. Okay. So on this particular napkin, there are 4 images. All right, 4 images. And I think they're beautiful, and they kind of, to me, they kind of tell a little bit of the Easter story. Okay, so this is the napkin I'm going to be working with today. And I'll go ahead and just show you the images here. This is an image of Jesus praying in the Garden of Gethsemane. This is prior to, he knows what's coming, and he is in prayer here. And then let me just open this whole napkin up here. I also wanted to have Jesus with the lamb. I love this napkin. I think of Jesus as our good shepherd, right? Also as the lamb, spotless, blameless of sin, the lamb that, saved the sins of the world, right? We think of Jesus as the lamb. So I have this beautiful image of Jesus with the lamb. Also, Jesus with a cross. Now, this was the hard one, because it's like, how do you depict, what happened, right? The crucifixion that day. So I decided to go with this image of Jesus bearing the cross. He's carrying the cross, right? And then, of course, what happens 3 days later, right? We know that Jesus rises again, and that tomb is empty, that the grave can't hold him. And so here he is, and this is kind of my picture of what I kind of envision, maybe that day of rising, or that day of ascension could have possibly looked like. Okay, so 4 images that I want to put together in a decor piece. Okay, so I had to think about this, like, how do I want to depict this? How do I want to put this together? And I decided that I'm going to be using some frames today. Okay, so let me show you the frames I'm going to be using. I picked up these frames on Amazon. I wanted to make sure I got them somewhere that everybody else could get them as well. They are basically 6x6 frames. Okay, 6x6 frames. They come with different finishes, but this one is kind of a rustic white, kind of a whitewash or rustic white. I thought it was really pretty, especially for with Easter and all the things. These don't have glass with them. It's got like a little plexi plate here. Let me just take this apart for you so you can see. I don't intend to use the little easel back here. It has a little easel back here. I'm actually going to mount these frames together. I want all of these images to stay together. So I think 6 frames came in this bundle. It was quite affordable. I thought it was very, very good and affordable. Susan will be posting the Amazon link for you here today, just so you can see what I'm using. The frame also comes with a mat. I don't think I'm going to use the mat, though. I'll show you why here in a little bit, but it does come with the mat. If you don't use the mats, I would save these, because these are really cute to napkinize and use with your photos or other picture frames, things like that. So this will come off, and then this has like a film on it, right? So if I haven't quite decided if I'm going to use this or not. All right, we'll decide today. We'll decide today while I'm creating. You'll just peel the film off, and it's like a little plexi. It's not actually glass, like a plexi, but if you did want something on top of your napkin art, you could use this. I'm still a little on the fence. Okay, so obviously I will need 4 frames to make what I want to make today. And sorry, let me get down here to all your comments here. Thank you, Susan, for posting the link. So I'm going to put these images in each one of these frames. Now, I want to do this in a special way. I really, really love fabric. I think a lot of people know that. I really love anything with texture. So I have decided that I'm going to add my napkins to burlap squares today. All right. This is a really light colored burlap, as light as I could find. This is the lightest, whitest one, that I could find. It's not exactly white. I'll show you just so you can see. All right. It's not brown. It's not the natural. There is a lighter one. It's almost kind of a cream type color. Okay. But I I love adding napkin art to things that have texture. And this burlap is perfect for this because the napkin is going to meld itself into all of the little nooks and crannies. And it almost looks like a tapestry or a stitching piece, a hand stitched piece or something like that. And I thought, how beautiful would that texture be in this frame, right? And then my plan is then to attach the frames together. I'll be showing you how I'm going to do that when we get to that part of the workshop. And I just think it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful piece that I can have forever, that I can, eventually, maybe I want to make one of these for each of my kids, for their families or something. I mean, this is something that you could do. We do still have napkin bundles for anybody that's interested in getting a napkin bundle. And even if you don't use these same images, I think you're really going to enjoy seeing what it looks like on top of the burlap, and then within the frame, actually in the frame. Okay, so the other things that I'm going to be using today, I did cut myself 4 6x6 squares of white cardstock. Okay, this is white cardstock, 4 6x6 squares. These are roughly 6x6. I'll be trimming them down. I just kind of, just cut them very quickly. So I usually get my burlap at Hobby Lobby on the Bolt. Okay, in the fabric area. Your local fabric stores, I'm sure, carry burlap. I'm sure that they do. Look for the lightest color that you can get. Okay, the lightest color, because that's going to keep the colors on our napkin art very pure. Okay, so the other thing, I'm using a little bit of parchment paper today. Let's see, the 4 frames, my napkin. You're going to need a couple of different brushes here. We may use a little bit of paint. I'm not sure yet. I don't think we're going to have to. I wasn't sure if I wanted to add some additional white to these frames, but if you do, you just need some white paint for that. So Mod Podge matte. And then I am going to be using some chip brushes. Chip brushes look like this with these natural bristle brushes. Okay. They come in a couple different sizes. Doesn't matter the size. All right. Okay. You guys ready? All right. Well, we're going to work on the burlap pieces first. What do you think about this project? Could you paint the burlap if you can't find a lighter color? Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great idea, Paula. If you have like a natural, more of a brown burlap, you absolutely could do that. Just do a dry brush over it to add that white back in. Yeah, but yeah, you definitely could do that. Okay. What else could you napkinize if you didn't want to do burlap? You guys, we haven't done a lot of this, but there are other things that have texture to them. Maybe you want to use something that has texture on it, like lace. Right now, the reason I like the burlap is because it's thicker. It's got a more whereas lace, like if it was something maybe that was more of a crochet type lace, you'd have more dimension, right? You'd have more texture. If it's a really thin lace, you're not going to have much texture. So it just depends on the exact thing. Okay. The exact thing that you're going over. If you have, we've done this before, you're going to see this happening again. This is just one of our free workshops. Okay. So there will be another Easter Blessings workshop where I'll be using napkins from this bundle. That's going to be on April 4th. That's also going to be a little more decor related. I am going to throw in one more workshop for those of you that are interested in journaling, and whether it's junk journaling, Bible journaling, anything like that, paper crafting, paper crafters, things like that. I want to show you some things that you can do with the napkins in that way as well. So that date will be to be determined. Okay. You already have some frames. Okay, good. And the frames could be really any kind of frame. I just wanted to make sure that it was at least a 6x6 frame. Okay. Now these images, let me show you. They're a little, the napkin is a little larger than 6x6. So we will lose a little bit of this. You could even go down to a 5x5. If you go down to a 5x5, which I think might be the mat size, that might be the mat size. Let me just show you. Do you see how then it's just going to capture this part of the image? You won't see anything else. And I kind of like seeing the framework around this and the watercolor around these. So I really wanted to make sure that my frame had an opening of 6x6. This is optional. We don't have to use the mat, but hang on to these because they really are fun to do other things with. Okay. All right. You ready to get started? All right. I'm excited. I'm ready to get started. So we're going to start. I'm going to put those away. We're going to start with just the burlap squares and the napkin itself. Okay. Let me make sure my volume's turned up. There we go. Just want to make sure, can everybody hear me okay? Everything good before we get started? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my squares out here. And remember, it is a little larger than what we need, but that's okay. We'll just trim it down. I think this is going to be a beautiful piece. And I think once these frames are mounted together, then I have some options, right? I could hang it. It could be something I actually hang on the wall. I also think it'd be beautiful in an easel of some sort, right? If you have floating shelves or a fireplace mantle, it could be really pretty propped. Okay. So I think there's lots of ways that we could utilize these. All right, one, make sure these are cut, 2, 3, 4. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, I'm going to grab my Mod Podge mat. Oops. Make sure I opened it. Okay. I see the problem here. This is a new one. And there's a little thingy in here. Up in the top. Let me find a needle. Here. Here's a pin. I was like, why is it coming out? It's because the little cardboard thingy is still in here. There we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and load up here. Again, using Mod Podge Mat today, the yellow label. And we need to separate all of our napkins. We just want to use the top ply. These are 3-ply napkins, okay? So I'm going to do my little lick and stick here. That's one way. Just using my own DNA here to separate them. And by the way, there's lots of fun things we can do with these squares of leftover napkins. Hang on to those, especially if you're going to be coming back for maybe one of my journaling workshops with this bundle. Hang on to these, okay? All right. And then if your DNA, if your spit isn't as sticky as mine, the other thing you can do is just tap your finger, get a little tiny bit of Mod Podge on your tip of your finger. Tap it together until it's sticky, not gluey, but just kind of sticky. And the same thing will happen here. Okay, you just need a sticky finger. All right. Anybody from my napkin club out there watching today? Yes, if you're out there and you're watching from the napkin club, make sure and say hi in the comments. For some of you, we sell this particular napkin bundle is an optional bundle. I don't want to ever feel like I'm forcing my faith on someone. So we make it optional. If this is something that you want to purchase, you can. And I really like it's really fun to share some of these techniques with people that maybe have never played with napkins before, right? So for some of you in the napkin club, this will be a little bit of a refresher because we have worked with burlap in the napkin club before. I love working with it. But for those of you that maybe are brand new, haven't ever worked with it, this will be a lot of fun for you. And like I said, everything I'm showing you is something any of you out there could do. Okay. Hi, Napkin Club members. Hello. Glad to see you guys out there watching. I hope some of my Faith Journaling members are out there too. All right. So we have our matte Mod Podge ready to go. Yellow label. I'm going to use kind of a wider, I like using an artist, like a synthetic brush, an artist brush, not the foam paint brushes. Those foam paint brushes in Mod Podge, the black foam, has a tendency to just kind of disintegrate. And then you wind up with little black specks all over your project. Now we're going to put some Mod Podge on this, and it's going to look a little patchy right here at first. And don't worry about like some of the sides if it starts to fray. I don't want you to worry about that. I'm on top of parchment paper, a couple sheets of parchment paper here because your Mod Podge is going to sink through. So once I get enough kind of like little blobs of Mod Podge on here, then I start kind of swirling my brush. Okay, just kind of swirling my brush. We want this Mod Podge to really be worked into all of the nooks and crannies. Okay, all the nooks and crannies. Don't forget the corners. So it's going to look something kind of like this. Okay. And we're going to I'm going to do this kind of assembly line style since I'm doing several. Okay. All right, here we go. We're going to go down with the first one here. So just kind of line it up as best as you can. Remember, we are going to have some of this is not going to show. All right, and I'm just going to kind of press, just a little press with your hands. Now, the next step is going to be to grab your chip brush. And again, this could be either size. We saw these here, but honestly, you can find these anywhere. Your home improvement stores, your hardware stores, your craft stores. And I'm going to go up and down and start pouncing. Start in the center. And then just start moving your way out. And what this is doing, and we want to do this, pretty quickly. What this is doing is it's pushing the napkin tissue down into all those nooks and crannies. Okay, down into all those nooks and crannies. You're going to love the end result. So just really push, push, push. I'm going to go ahead and hold this up. It's kind of stuck on my parchment paper, but I'm going to hold this up so that you can kind of see. Do you see the texture? Do you see what I'm talking about? Do you see how the napkin just kind of melds into the burlap? It's just gorgeous, 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 and beautiful. So now we've done this one. And I'm going to put it to the side. I'm going to do a little better on this one. We'll do a couple of it. Make sure I can get a couple on here. I just plop that one right in the middle of that. So our next one, we're just going to keep working at this and going along. So while I'm doing this, I just want to ask you, how many of you create projects that kind of celebrate your faith or remind you of your faith. They're like that visual. I'm a very visual person, so I really like to be surrounded by things that I want to absorb, right, or soak up. And so even though the particular napkins we're using today don't have a scripture on them, a lot of the napkins do. And so even just surrounding yourself with scripture, it's just, I've always said that I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the world gets really loud, right? I say this a lot in my faith group. The world gets really loud, and sometimes I just need those other reminders around me, right, to help me just stay grounded, to stay kind of rooted in truth, So I really enjoy creating things that either are a reminder of my faith, celebrate my faith, and I love being able to gift things like this to other people as well. Lynn says, I do. Because of your napkins, I've been able to do beautiful projects. Aw, thank you. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of faith-based napkins out there. There's really not a lot. You can find a few now and then, but there's not a whole lot. All right, I think we're pretty good on this piece of burlap. Rose says faith helps block the world out and keeps us focused. Yes, completely, totally agree. That's really what that's what it does a lot for me. It just helps me to stay kind of grounded and rooted, and just remembering what's really truly important. All right, I think that is pretty good. Oh, this one's so cute. So pretty. All right, so I'm going to come back again immediately and start pouncing. Start in the center. Oh, this is pretty. Everybody's going to be running out to get burlap. Or remember what Paula said. Paula mentioned, is it okay to paint on, maybe you have a brown burlap already. Yeah, you can paint over it. Nothing wrong with that. This is really pretty. Now, I kind of noticed that this little corner was lifting. So if you see something kind of lifting up, I think the rest of these are okay. A little bit. But this little corner was lifting up just a little bit. So if you notice anything lifting, then that's when you can stop and kind of add a little more Mod Podge. Oh, look. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the lamb. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I just can't get enough of it. I love the texture. I love the look. All right, let's do this one. Janet Neely, I'm going to read your comment. I have many faith-based sayings, creations from creating in the Faith Journaling group in the napkin group. That's awesome. That makes me happy. Debbie Horn says, I enjoy making faith-based decor and gifts. Your napkins keep me rooted as well. Aw, thank you. All right, so this really doesn't take that long to do this. Just make sure that you're don't be too skimpy on the Mod Podge. I'm just kind of like scooping it out, plopping it around. And then you can start kind of swirling, brushing it out. And eventually it will start to seep through and kind of grabs a hold of your parchment paper, which is a good thing. Then that makes it a little easier to apply. But we've got to have a lot, anything that's got a lot of texture to it or any kind of fabric. You can napkinize other types of fabric too. It's going to attempt to kind of soak up that Mod Podge. So make sure you use plenty of it. And then don't forget to do this swirl. So swirl action, that's just going to help to make sure it's getting down into, again, all the nooks and crannies. Okay. Jane, you've never done the burlap? Ooh. Yep, you need to. You need to go get you some burlap. So if you can, get the lightest color you can, but just know if you can't find the same color as me, you can always kind of go over and paint it. Okay. I think there's so many holidays, you know, especially when you think about Christmas and Easter. It's really important to have, I think, you know, I have grandkids and they come over quite often, and it's important to me to have some things out that, again, kind of remind not just me, but even them, you know, why are we celebrating Easter? It really isn't, it's not just about, now we do the Easter baskets, we hide eggs, we do all those things, but it's also getting kind of to the true meaning, right? The true meaning of Easter, the story of Easter, why it's important, why we celebrate it. So I love that having some things around can kind of be a great way to start conversations, right? Okay, let's take a look at this one. Look, do you see what I mean? How it almost looks like again, kind of like a, I don't know, a tapestry, or almost even a stitching type project or something. I just really love the texture. Okay, I think that one's good. All right, I'm going to come back to this piece of parchment paper. And I'm going to peel this one up. You can see all that Mod Podge there. I'm just going to move that one over and grab another piece of burlap here. And we'll do this one. Thank you guys. So many of you ordered the bundles and the Easter Blessings bundles. So I want to thank you for your orders. I appreciate that. I'm really excited to see what you do with them. Just so you know, just in case you don't know this already, did you know that I have a public Facebook group? It's called Create and Connect with Miss Tracy. And I would love, if you haven't joined that group, I'd love for you to go over there and join that group, because that way, once we're trying to kind of build a crafty community over there. But that way, you have a place where you can show me pictures of what you're making with the napkins. I'd love to see any of you that are going to repeat and recreate this project I'm showing you today. I want to see your projects. I want to see what you're making. And in that public Facebook group, anyone that's a member can go in and post a picture. So it would be great if you're not already over there. I would love for you to join us over there. And Susan, I didn't think about it, but make sure you share this over into the Create and Connect Facebook group, this live. It's been a fun place for me to see. It's so rewarding to me to see when I show you like a certain technique, whether it's through Craft and Chat or a special workshop. I love being able to see your projects and see what you've made. It's just it's a really rewarding thing for me to see. And it's a great way for us to inspire each other, right? As crafters, as makers, we can inspire each other with how we've used different products and different things in our stash. All right, here we go. Let's get this one down. So again, I'm just kind of eyeballing, just kind of centering this because it is going to be a little bigger than what we're really going to need. So just kind of patting that down in place. And now let's pounce out our last one here. So beautiful. Now, what could you do with the burlap pieces if you did not want to put them into a frame? Depending on the size of the burlap, you can wrap a canvas with burlap. You could even use some pretty, I did this with the butterflies in one of my Napkin Club bundles. I took a piece of burlap and I put the butterfly on it. And then I took out some of the strands so it left the fringe kind of around the edge, kind of trimmed it to the size I wanted it to be, removed some of the strands of burlap so it was fringy on all four sides, and then put it on top of a canvas. But instead of like gluing it all down, I used really pretty like upholstery tacks and put a decorative upholstery tack in each corner so that when I hammered it in, it went into the wooden part of the frame of the canvas. Really, really cute. Really, really cute. In fact, did I ever post? I don't know if I posted pictures of that. I'll have to post a picture of that over in the Create and Connect group. I'll do that this weekend. I'll make sure and post that so you guys can see it. But there's lots of ways that you could utilize the burlap. All right, let's make sure again everything is in here nicely. All right, let's take a look at this one. So beautiful. Look at that. You guys, it's a napkin. Doesn't that just blow your mind? I have been working with napkins for years, and it's still just kind of blows my mind. It feels magical almost every single time I use a napkin on a different type of surface. I never get tired of it. I never get tired of napkin art because literally you could fill in the blank and I would tell you, yes, you can napkinize that. Even things that go outside. We teach you in the Napkin Club all kinds of different techniques for different, or best practices, I should say, and techniques for different surfaces, all kinds of things. All right. Okay. So now that we've got this part done, I need to dry these. Okay. We need to get these dry. I'm going to start with the one I started with first. So I'm going to start just kind of drying this out. And actually, sometimes I do one more pass. Do one more pass, and then we're going to let this dry on the top first. Do these. If you don't have room to put together something with 4 frames, you just pick some of your favorite napkins out of the bundle, and you could cover a few canvases or something if you wanted to. All right. I don't usually seal these. I mean, well, it depends. I should take that back. It depends. It depends on how you're going to use this piece of burlap. Now it's napkinized. That's my word for anything that you alter with a napkin. So now we have this napkinized burlap, right? So it depends how we're going to use it, right? How are we going to use it? If you know for a fact it's going to go on a frame and you have a piece of glass going on top of it, or a piece of the plexi, right? The plexi, then I don't know that you necessarily have to go in and seal it. If you plan to just leave it with nothing, put it in the frame and not use glass, or it's going to be on the outside, let's say, of a canvas or something like that, then you will want to come in. Okay, you will want to come in and just do a light coat of Mod Podge over the top of it. Okay, so that is something to think about. This one's still just a little wet. That was the last one we did. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to peel this off, and I'm going to dry it from the back side. I'm just peeling these off. I'm going to leave this one on just a little bit longer. Okay. And we're going to dry it from the back. Just trying to get some of that Mod Podge dry. It doesn't have to be fully dry, and I'll explain why here in just a moment. I just don't want it to be like drippy. And it's not. It's hardly sticking on my hands at all. So at this stage, I really kind of need to decide, am I going to use the plexiglass or not? Okay, so here's the little plexi that comes with these frames. So it's got a little film on it. Let me grab that. Take that film off. Now I'm not going to take, there's film on both sides, by the way. There's film on both sides. I'm not going to take the film off the other side yet because I just want to look. I have to decide, do I want to have this on top of here? And I think I do, just because of the fact that it'll be easier to clean. I do have the frames, you know, I'm going to mount the frames together. I think it looks I think it actually looks nice underneath there. What do you guys think? What would you do? Would you leave it, or would you leave it just the piece, or would you add the plexi or glass? You might have glass in your frame or plexi, you know. Again, if you're not going to have a protective covering over it, okay, let's say the frames, maybe you have frames in your stash that are 6x6 and they don't have glass or plastic or anything like that. If that's you, then just make sure that you do a top coat over these. Okay, just a nice thin top coat, let it dry. That's going to protect your napkin. Okay. All right. Such a fun thing to do. Fun project. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure this one's a little bit more dry. You like the texture look without the frame? Oh, without the glass? Yeah, I'm thinking about, like, where am I going to put it? I'm thinking about the ease of cleaning it. I'm also thinking about, like, what's going to protect it? Like, how can I make sure that this decor piece lasts forever, right? For a long time. So I'm kind of thinking about maybe using it. I have other pieces, though, that I have not done that on, and I've loved them equally. So I don't think, I think it's just a either or. I don't think that I think it's going to look beautiful either way. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So I just want to remind you again, if you do get this set of frames that I got on Amazon, that they do have these little mats with them. So just to show you, if you did decide to use the mat, okay, you'd be looking, your image would be much smaller. Do you see? It'll be much smaller. So I'm not going to use the mat. I like the color. I like kind of the the color and everything that's going on there. But I am going to hang on to these. So hang on to these. We'll use them for something else. All right. So next step. I've got my paper here. I'm just kind of looking to make sure how much it's going to get kind of covered up and to see if that made any difference at all, if I have paper underneath there or not. I actually like it without it. I think it covers up some of the texture and the depth. So don't worry about this right now. Let's go to the frames. Okay, so there's one of my frames. Let me grab one of the backs. Okay, so ideally, what I think would be best to do is, this is one of the backs, right? So I just want to make sure that the back is centered with the napkin, okay? That the back, let me say that again, that it's centered within the napkin, okay? So I'm not looking at like burlap. I'm really trying to look at the edges of the napkin. And then once I'm sure that that is okay, I am going to go ahead and just put a few swipes, okay? Just a few swipes on here of my Mod Podge. Just a few. And let me make sure this is, yes, okay. All right, can you guys see that? So I'm kind of looking at the napkin edges. Should be about the same size, about the same amount of border all the way around. Okay. So these do have this on the back of it. This is something that you could remove, or we could just leave it flat. So the reason that I had cut the white cardstock is because I knew that this was going to be brown going behind here, and I wasn't sure if I was going to like that. Okay, so let me show you why I do like it. All right, I like it because it actually, we see a little bit more depth with the burlap, whereas when I put the white underneath it, I kind of lost some of that depth. Okay, so I actually do like the brown underneath there. So I'm not going to use the cardstock after all. If you don't like more of the depth, see how the brown's kind of showing through the open weave. If you don't like how that looks and you want it to just be white showing through that open weave, then you would just be mounting your cardstock behind the burlap. Okay, that's the difference. I like seeing more texture. Okay, next up, I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut away, just cut right next to the edge, any of the excess. A little extra right there. So now I've got a really nice square. Do you see what I'm saying? By leaving it brown underneath, I actually can see more of the depth within the texture of the burlap. Okay. If you don't like that, okay, if you don't like that, then put white. Put the white cardstock beneath there. All right. So I'm going to lay this into my frame. This frame already has this pretty, and I'm going to go ahead and just put these in just so you can see what it looks like without anything. okay, without anything. This is just the burlap. Okay, you just don't have that protective layer of glass or plexi on top. If you're going to go this route and just leave it, make sure you put a top coat on. And you can do that top coat on whenever. You could do it now. I could take it out of here and put the top coat on this right now. Now let's look at it with the plexi, just so again, so you guys can see and know what you think, which way you think you might want to go. What did I do? Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take off the other side of there'll be a protective coating on each side of plexi. So this will go down first. This will go down second. And now this is what I have. Okay. I know the lights kind of, you're going to see the glare of the light just because I have lights all around here. But that's the difference. This will either be your protective coating or your Mod Podge will be your protective coating. And I'm still kind of on the fence, you guys. I'm still kind of on the fence which way to go. Now, if you're doing these individually, these do have an easel back. I actually want to attach mine together. So I'm going to keep working on these. We're going to get these all in the frames. And I think just because, for right now, just because of all the lights in here, I'm going to take the plexi out. And I will decide about that later. So at least for you guys to be able to see this and not have that glare. And then if I do decide not to use the glass or the plexi, in my case, I will put a thin coat on top. Okay, I will definitely put a thin coat on top. All right, let's go to our next one. Okay, here's our next one. And again, just going to put on a little bit of Mod Podge. This just helps to kind of hold things in place. Holds things in place when I'm cutting. Super simple. All right, and again, I'm looking at the napkin. And I want to be sure that I kind of am centered within the napkin edges. I can also, whoops. Turn it over and look at the other side just to be sure. I feel like I need to go up. I'm kind of an eyeballer, so just going to eyeball everything. Yeah, that looks about right. Trimming this off. If you're using something unfinished, like unfinished wood frames, I mean, think about it. That's kind of cool because you could paint your frame out whatever color you want it to be. You could crackle it, distress it. These frames just saved me time because I like the way the finish looks. So beautiful. So beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this image. All right, so now you can kind of start to see what I'm talking about here, right? When I attach these together, I'll have all of these images together. All right, let's do this one next. So it could be a grouping on a wall. It could be a grouping, you know, again, they have an easel back, so you could just have them standing. I just kind of have a vision where I want this to go, and I want them all attached together so that it makes a bigger statement, right? Kind of a bigger decor piece, bigger statement. And then when I get this part done, I want to talk to you because I have a little plan on something I think I want to put in the middle. All right. The lamb's your favorite. I love the lamb too. Okay, so again, just kind of eyeballing the center. Press this down for a second. Lori says, is it okay to Mod Podge and still put the glass on? Will that stick and cause problems? Make sure if you are doing a thin coat of Mod Podge over the top of them, make sure it's totally dry. I mean, really, really good and dry before you put something on top. Okay, before you do glass or plexi or something on top, it really needs to be completely dry. If you know you're going to do glass or plexi, okay, then you don't even have to put that top coat on. But if you're unsure, right? Like if you're unsure, just make sure it's really, really good and dry. Okay. All right, let me pull these little things in. Let's trim this one up. And the cool thing about this, doing frames this way where you're, you know, if you decide to mount them together, you could mount them together in a square. You could mount them together going vertically. You could mount them together going horizontally. You know, I mean, you have choices in how you arrange the frames. That one. Got little burlap fuzzy on them. Make sure you clean the burlap fuzz off before you put your top coat on. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at that one. Isn't that nice? Such a beautiful depiction. Oops, my little thing came on. Oh, I see. I have that all pushed in all the way. There's a little lip here. There's a little opening there to push your little thingies in. Okay, I'll kind of start arranging these and then we'll turn my camera around so we can decide how we like them. So with this, the frame set that I bought, there's 6 frames like this in the set. I wanted 4 for this, but I'm kind of happy there's 2 extra because those could be great that I could use. Maybe I want to napkinize a couple of the other, maybe I want to use a couple of the other napkins in the bundle and even still napkinize those on burlap and give those as gifts, right? I mean, that could be a gift for someone. Or just another piece of decor. If maybe you're having Easter lunch with somebody and you want to bring them a little hostess gift or something. And like I said, they don't all have to be Easter. Some of them are just really beautiful napkins with scriptures on them. You know, I didn't even think to look at the frames first to see how I wanted to arrange them. They're all rustic and different. But I can always go back and kind of turn things around. Really easy to move things around. All I'm doing, you guys, is just trimming this right to the edge. Oh, beautiful. Pretty. Okay, so of course you can move these and put these in any order that you want. I'm going to change my screen up here for just a second. Let's go. Whoops, hang on. Okay, I'm gonna go like this, just so you can kind of see this. So I can decide, you know, maybe I want this frame for this one. They're wiggling a little bit, and I think it's because I don't have that layer of the plexi in there. So you might need to, if you decide not to use plexi or glass, you might need to put a little bit of glue in these when you set them in so that they don't shimmy or wiggle. Don't kind of shimmy or wiggle on you. And then we can kind of decide what order you want them to go in. So if you did decide to actually put them together as a square, okay, if you decide to actually put them together as a square, I'm on the lookout. Now, I have several crosses. I love beautiful crosses. I have several. And you guys know that I recently moved and I'm still kind of going through my boxes of all my things. But what I was thinking is if I did decide to do this in this way, let's see if I can make this a little brighter. Okay. I'm going to look for one of my pretty decorative crosses then to mount right on top. Okay. So I could actually have a pretty cross here that I could mount right here in the middle. Now, I don't have to put them in this order. If you're just arranging them on a wall, right? You can separate them out. If you want to still put them in some type of order, right? They could be going down vertically. That's kind of hard to show everything on here. Or they could be going horizontally, right? So you could have them, you could actually arrange them in any way that you want. I'm really leaning towards the square. Okay, I'm leaning towards you doing the square. And then mounting a cross right here, something pretty. If you don't have a decorative cross, you could always create a cross. We actually have some pretty cross napkins in our bundle that maybe you could find just a wooden cross and you could napkinize that. Hobby Lobby, Mardel's, Christian bookstores, lots of places have pretty little decorative crosses, and you may even have something in your stash already that you could mount and use right here in the center. So that's that's the route I'm going. That's the decision that I want. That's how I want to do mine. And I need to talk to you now about mounting these together. Okay, about mounting these together. Now I still have to make the decision. Am I going to add the plexi or not. Still kind of thinking about it. I'll put it all in and decide which way to go. But when it comes to actually mounting these together, we can't do that with just like a normal hot glue or a craft glue. We're going to need something a little stronger. So E6000 is my choice. And what I typically like to do is I use 2 glues. Okay. And I'll explain why. This stuff is super, it's like industrial strength strong. Okay. It's super strong. Make sure that you have something, again, maybe it's parchment paper, a non-stick craft mat. Make sure you have something underneath your frames when you get ready to glue them together, in case something kind of spreads or drips down. You want to protect your table. Also, make sure you're on a level surface when you do this. They're going to need to sit overnight. So typically what I do, all right, and some of you, I've seen some people will take like these little craft sticks, and on the back they'll mount, you know, little craft sticks together. I've mounted frames like this before because these aren't heavy, because even if I use the plexi's light, it's not heavy like glass. I don't think I need to use these. What I'm going to do is just put in a couple of drops of hot glue. All right. Actually, no, let me give you the right order. First, I'm going to come in and I'm going to take my E6000 and I'm going to put a couple of probably 3 little dots of E6000. It's very strong and a little goes a long way. Okay. Dot, dot, dot. You don't need a ton. So maybe 3, maybe a corner, a middle, and a corner, right? Not too close to the corner. I don't want it to seep out, right? And then I'm going to add a couple of dots of hot glue in between those. The reason I'm doing that is because then the hot glue will hold everything kind of short term while the E6000 is setting up. Okay. And it will need to set up. It will need to sit and set up. It's E6000 is not a fast grab. So more than likely what I'll do is I usually when I need to glue things like that, I do it at night. I'll do it before I go to bed, you know, or maybe I'll do these when I get home this afternoon, somewhere where I don't ever have to touch them. Level space, have your table protected wherever they're going to be. If they're going to be on the floor in the garage, wherever they're going to be, make sure you have something underneath them to protect it. And then they're going to need to sit there for several hours. So they could sit overnight. And I let them sit even longer than I think they need to sit. Okay. So for me, I would say I'd probably leave them sitting for at least a day. Okay. Just to be sure that is really that E6000 has had plenty of time to cure. Okay. Plenty of time to cure and harden and all of those things. And then I will be able to go in and hang this up or prop it or put it on an easel or however I decide I want to. When I get ready to actually mount the cross, I'm probably going to do that at the exact same time. So I would be using E6000 also for the cross that I'm going to look through my little collection and see if I already have something that I love that I want to use that I've already got. If I don't see something, then that gives me an excuse to go do a little shopping, looking for something to go right here in the center. And so again, I'll use E6000. Again, dots, little dots, not a lot. It spreads, it will spread. Don't use too much. A little goes a long way. Okay. Yeah. A little goes a long, long way. So tell me what you think. I did not put the plexi in, so you didn't have to deal with all of the glare. And again, I'm going to hold these up individually in the light, really good in the light here, so that you can see all of that yummy texture. I just think it's beautiful. This napkin is super special to me. It was not an easy one to put together. I just really love how it looks. I love everything about it. And all of these images are on one napkin. It's a square of each napkin. And then for those of you that haven't gotten a bundle, I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the other napkins in the bundle. But this is my first project. This is my very first project from this bundle. And I really, really love it. I really love it. If you're not crazy about the distress on the frames, that's why we have paint, right? You can paint them out if you want. That's why I pulled my paint out just in case, because I was like, if I feel like they need to be a little more white, like if they're a little too rustic, I can always come in and I can just kind of dry brush on some more white. And I may do that. They're a little creamier than I was hoping. I kind of wanted them to be a little more white. So I think it'll be really pretty if I do decide to just go in and just kind of dry brush in a little bit of white here and there. Okay. You love it? Good. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear you say that, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you, Darla. Yeah, I just think it's going to be just a really unique piece, one of a kind. And just a great way, again, for us to remember the true meaning of Easter. So let me show you a few more of the napkins that are in here. Some of them are fun and whimsical. Some of them are definitely more spring-like. These are some small crosses. Now, I'm going to be sharing some ideas on how to use these. This one has a bunch of little mini crosses. This is great for multiples if you're making multiple cards, tags, something like that. Here is another one of the napkins. Thank you, Jesus, for bearing my sins on the cross. This is paired with this one, John 3:16. Okay, so just to show you multiple images on each napkin. Okay, he is risen. This is a beautiful one. He is risen. This will be a pretty one that you could even cut out around or use the whole thing. Here's one, just beautiful daisies. I love daisies. Growing Grace. So you can see how these have a scripture reference on them. And then I'm doing something really special with this set of napkins also. I love music. I love the music score here on the napkin. His eyes on the sparrow. And I know he watches me. Some of you may remember that as an old hymn. And it comes from this reference, Matthew 10:31. And then another one here, because he lives, I can face tomorrow, John 14:19. So this has both on it. This is a companion napkin. We need a companion napkin sometimes to do the sides of things or whichever. But look how pretty the stripes. See how all those colors come out? It actually looks really pretty with lots of the napkins in this bundle. Now, these are the large crosses. So there are two large floral crosses. This is what I was saying. I'm going to be looking to see if I can just find a wooden cross of some size or similar to this. It's a pretty generic shape, right? Here's the pink side. And so even having, if I could find something, that would fit in here, you could even napkinize and have one of these crosses right here in your bundle. And then, of course, this one, let's see, I think I skipped one. Here we go. Another companion napkin is just the music score because I just love the music. I think the music is so pretty. I could see using this in all kinds of collage backgrounds, anything like that. And then bringing back our little lamb again. Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. John 1:29. And also we felt like we had to have some bunnies. Nobody loves you like Jesus. Nobody loves you like Jesus. So I love this bundle. I hope that you love it too. I hope that you really enjoyed learning from this Easter Blessings workshop today. And yes, I will be mounting mine all together. I'm going to look through my collection of crosses and see if I have something that will just kind of just works perfectly here. If not, I'll make something that will work perfectly there. And then once they're all good and my E6000's all hardened up, I'll stage this a few different ways and take pictures of it for you. Okay. Yes, such a beautiful, beautiful bundle. Now, don't forget, if you don't use the plexi or the glass, these are wiggling a little bit. Okay. Do you see they're wiggling a little bit? Because I don't have that layer in there. So I would make sure, I would probably, when you get ready to mount these in here, maybe put just a couple little dots of glue before you put this in. That way they're not wiggling. Okay. Yeah. So pretty. All right. Any questions on what I've shown you today? Any questions on the Easter Blessings bundle? Yes, we still have more bundles. If you decide, gosh, maybe you already bought a bundle and you want to get a second one now, because maybe you do want to make some gifts, make some extra things to gift to family members or friends or anyone. Thank you, Diana. I'm so excited you're excited to make it. I'm so happy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for your sweet comments. And thank you again, those of you that have been watching over on YouTube. Sending you a big love over there to my YouTube channel. Thank you for those of you watching on my Facebook page. Big love for you also. Let's see if I can get some little, there we go. There's some love for you guys. Thank you so much for watching my first workshop on the Easter Blessings Bundle. There will be a second workshop that has already been scheduled for April 4th. April 4th. You can put that one on your calendar. And then I decided I'm going to add in one more workshop that's a little bit more geared towards our journalers, paper crafters, people like that. If that's something that you're into, whether it's Bible journaling, junk journaling, mixed media, card makers, any paper crafters out there, I think I'm going to throw in one more, just because there's so many different ways that we could use these napkins. And if you really enjoy working with napkin art, you might want to consider coming and joining us in the Napkin Club. We just shipped out our March bundle of napkins, which is called Flower Garden. So if you're interested in that at all, we still have a couple of spots that haven't been claimed. So let us know. We'll be happy to share a link with you if you'd like to come over and join and learn lots more, way more, a tremendous amount more about working with napkin art. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Happy Easter. Have a wonderful weekend and keep creating. Bye, everyone.